We're on there now, but messed up the intro music somehow. Viking is here. Well, that's the first time for me. Hmm. There we go. Very strange occurrence there. Never had glitch like that before. Hmm. Dokie. Guess that's the way it is.
Test 1, 2, 3.
Hello? Are you there? Hello? Can't hear. I can't hear you.
No, it's just these gremlins.
Oh. No.
No, it's just these gremlins.
I pushed everything I had to every time. I do the same thing. I know I hear them too. I'm just fucking with them.
So how was your day off last Friday? What'd you do?
I don't even
More
remember.
important that your live stream.
I don't know.
I can't remember. It was a week ago.
No, kid had a graduation thing today, or they call it what they call it. I forget what they call it here. Then instead of calling them students, they call them learners.
Graduate from what grade?
Third or fourth.
Third or fourth. I was still having nuns whacking me.
No, it's a private school
Misbehaving.
now, and we're sitting there. I mean, everybody's dressed up like it's some like gala. You know, one lady had this sharp red dress on. She looked like a prostitute. And they
Short
and for
short
them,
dress?
and for them, no, a long one,
Ah,
very nice one.
oh,
And she had her makeup back, the glasses, all that. But they had three kids, so the old man was going to go down with the second kid, and she's like, "No, come over here," you know. And then they each had to go around. Both of them had to come back for the other two. Well, you don't give no. Last year they gave a dinner of sorts. This year they didn't. They're building a new school down in Davao, but
well, next year my youngest graduates, the real graduation, high school.
telling you, all
One
you
more
need
year.
is junior high, man, to get through life.
One more year.
Got new internet today, huh? 1,000 by 1,000 in, 1,000 up, 1,000 down. Well, he must be having fun.
Oh man.
Well, normally when I order pizza, I just get either. They don't make. I like a little bit of sauce, you know. And usually I just get pepperoni, but I said, "Oh man, I'll get everything on it today." So first time in my life, I thoroughly enjoyed eating something with mushrooms and black olives on it. How's the weather there, up and down?
Yeah, it's beautiful today. Probably only get to 74 for the high.
You have
Next
32,
next few days is going to be like 68 for the high, 45 in the morning. Beautiful. Perfect weather.
30, 35 at night.
No, the last day of April I actually had frost. I had to scrape frost off the windshield of my car. April 30th. That was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
First thing in the morning. It's frost.
Hmm.
So, but I've
See,
cut my grass twice already this year, so it's growing real well.
grass, why even bother? Why don't they just put a slab there? You can park something on it, grill or something.
Yeah.
Not even
Yeah,
worth
man.
that.
I was at the gym yesterday, and I asked this other guy. There's about half dozen or 10 of us, retired people. We see each other all the time at the fitness center. I asked this one guy. I said, "Hey, I said, "Have you seen Bob lately?" And he looked at me. He said, "You didn't hear." I said, "What?" He said, "Bob died." I said, "What?" Yeah,
Bob who?
fucking guy. A guy I always saw at the fitness center. You know, we used to shoot the
Oh,
shit together.
uh,
Really nice guy. He's an Army vet. I think he was 69 years old. But yeah, he wasn't in bad shape. You know, I mean, he wasn't no fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything. But yeah, he was a real pleasant, easygoing guy. And this guy said, yeah, he saw him at the gym, and he usually goes home and eats, goes to a restaurant, eats with his wife at lunchtime, and then I guess they went home. She went to the store, come back, he's dead in his easy chair.
we
I guess that's the
we
way to go, you know. If you're gonna go, have a massive
we
heart attack all at once. Boom.
we had a guy. We had a guy. Yeah, but he should have. Like I check my blood pressure all the time, man. You're gonna
Yeah,
have
but
a
he
heart.
might not have known. You know, sometimes I think this guy at the gym, he said, yeah, Bob mentioned something about he might have had some heart, you know, operation a few years ago. So maybe he had a bad ticker to begin with. But
Well, you know what? It cost me what $60 to get this new monitor because I don't know what box I packed the other one in, and I look at it all the time, you know, and if there's any if there's any heart blood flow issues, it's gonna tell me.
are you on a blood pressure pill now?
Yeah, yeah,
Have you been for a while?
yeah, a couple of years.
You know what the name of it is?
Uh, uh,
Is it hydrochlorotetrazine or something like
let me
that?
look. Let me go look.
HCTZ. That's the
No,
short
mine's
four-letter
not,
acronym.
mine's not that, but I'll see. Hello to Pete.
Elodapine. Okay. Yeah, I saw my doc probably 3 weeks ago for my checkup, and mine was like borderline. I was like 144/80, you know,
Oh.
and I was like, is that like borderline? He said, yeah, it's getting there. He said, but you have a history right around that range. But
We'll see what they do.
he said, if you want me to give you something, I will. So I said, yeah. So he gave me some low dose. Plus, it's supposed to be a diuretic, you know,
the 20,
keep the
20
water stuff. You know, you pee
Oh.
more, maybe. I don't know.
What's the dosage? 10 or 20?
I think 12.5 milligrams, something like that.
Anyway, my cardiologist used to say, oh, I said, well, it shows like 128. That's in the hypertension range you're in.
Yeah, right.
Because yeah,
Right.
I said, isn't this normal? And he said, yeah, but it goes in this other shit. So now I look at it. If I'm below 124 over 75 or 80, I'm good. But it's actually been averaging around 111, 115 over 75. Heart rate of you get an extra 5 points now. So that's been around
2 weeks from today, I go for a stress test. I asked them if I could get
I
stress
couldn't.
test done.
I used to take the stairs over at the hospital when you go to the clinic, and man, I have to stop if I'm going up to 6.
Yeah. So in 2
No.
weeks, I might not be on the live stream for very long because it's at 11 in the morning, and I got to be there a little early. She said no caffeine 24 hours prior, and no eating from midnight. The night before.
Yeah,
I never heard that for a stress test.
no problem.
No eating. I can see that no caffeine maybe, but it's like I drink. She said not even decaf coffee, and I'm like, well, see, I only drink 1 cup of coffee in the morning, if that.
They give you,
So,
well, they got a different thing here, and I told you about that before when I had what did they say? I went in there and I was within 12 hours, but they wanted within 10 or some shit, and I'm like, and I told them 12, and well, that's not right. You gotta come
it's
back
too
and
long.
do that. You gotta come back and do that. So, well, why is it the way it is? Well, it's policy. Well, why is it hot? Nobody can tell me. It's just policy.
Well, why don't they give you a range? If it's a minimum 12 hours, but no more than something, right? Because they said you fasted too long, right?
Yeah.
Well, tell me what the upper limit is. Tell me what the sweet
No,
spot.
their limit is if it's 10, it's 10, or if it's 12, and they can't explain to me why.
Right.
But I better, and the lady goes, well, he looked like a hit to me. But I was jumping up I didn't jump up on the counter with my feet, but I raised my her body up and leaned over. She says, "You're not doing that right." I go, "You're not doing it right." And I'm pointing at her paperwork. I felt like I had done the things I said I'd never do.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what does it matter? That it's policy. That's all I got. So she says, you better not lie. I'm like, what the fuck's gonna know? And nobody. Next day I come in and she goes, when's the last time you ate? I said, 10 hours ago. What time was that? I don't know, 9:30? Something like that. Fucking bullshit. And I even asked one of the doctors. She couldn't tell me that either. I'm like, what the fuck? That reminds me of going to the airport, with the guy going, yeah, you're overweight. I'm thinking by a half a kilo. No, you're over, 300 or 3,000 or something. I'm like, well, why is that? I don't know. He goes, ask his boss. Well, they said, it's your ticket. I had 2 separate sheets because that's when I stopped off in Manila for a couple of days. And they said, well, he says, they're from the same ticket. I said, yeah. Bullshitting, And he comes back and goes, well, it's not on the same ticket. Otherwise, it would be like this. What's the fucking difference? If it's on the same sheet, I'm good. But if it's not, I gotta pay. I drew them down to like 1,000. It's fine instead of whatever. I forget, 2,500, 3,000, whatever. Come on, man. My luggage ain't gonna know where the fuck it's been for 3 days.
Yeah, I would have that problem living there. I just, it's everything you do, everything you encounter.
But it's really hard. But you can't. Don't try to ask for an explanation.
No, there is no explanation. That's what I know. I've been married to someone for 25 years. I know.
You just got to say.
There's no logical reason why. It's just.
You just got to say
the way they do things. So
just say okay.
Right.
Sir, you got to pay an extra $5. Okay.
Everything, and when you ask where something is, it's over there. Okay, well, where's over there?
Well, there's a new guy.
The rest of the world is over there, right? So you got to be a little more specific.
It was there was a guy that was just after that. Those employees were stealing a dude's money, and I think he was from, where was he from? Taiwan or something like that. And he said, no, there was 5,000. What, I'm just using a number. I can't remember the exact number. I put 5,000. Now it's not there, and he put up a stink about it. Then they investigated it, and they saw that the workers took it. So I come in like the following day or 2 after that. And the kid was nice enough, you know. He took all my shit. I didn't really give him a hard time, but it seems to be a chore to get past that fucking thing to get in up to the gate, you know. So I said, well, why don't you just keep the 1,000 here? Oh, sir, I can't do that. And I'm thinking there's two ladies sitting in back of them. They're watching and listening. And he said, I can't take it. So they hear us going through this whole spiel, but they don't help. But they're ready to bust his ass.
Yeah, I have a hard time dealing with that.
Hey,
I'd have to get a fixer for everything, you know, because I wouldn't. I don't know.
They don't allow
at
them.
that point putting up with that shit.
Unless you have a ticket, they don't allow you in the airport anymore. But
well, they didn't allow back when I first went to meet my wife, and it was before 2001. You know, September 11th. It was in April of that year, so it was before all the terrorist shit, right?
Yeah.
And even then, they wouldn't allow her in the airport to say goodbye to me. We had to say our goodbyes at a little coffee shop right outside the airport. You know, and that was my first. That was my first real experience of having a someone, I'll call it, walking by, sashaying by me, dressed, the makeup looked beautiful, right? In a pair of jeans, of course, no hips, and you know, no upper, you know, because it wasn't really that, you know, built that way. But she comes sashaying by me, and I kind of looked. And I looked at my, well, she wasn't my wife yet, you know, but I looked at her and I said, is that? And she just shook her head, yes. And, you know, I said, oh my gosh. But that was my first real encounter.
One of the teachers at my, that's so common here. You don't think twice. You know,
yeah, I know. That's what's crazy.
But in America, I mean,
so common.
They got a teacher at my son's school. I think the person wears a wig all the time. But they got, you know, I don't know, man. You can just tell by the shoulders, I guess. Yeah. But I got nothing to do while the ceremonies are going on. And I'm thinking, that's the only guy in this fucking room that's got a dick underneath that dress.
That you know of.
yeah. I suspect. I haven't confirmed it totally, but my keen sense of spotting fruits is pretty good.
Yeah, my wife, she has a couple cousins, a couple or more, who well, they were, when I was there almost 20 years ago, they were female, but I see pictures of them now. I mean, they got a haircut like me, you know, just like me.
You're going to have to cut down on that junk food you eat.
Yeah. I don't eat too much junk food, really.
Mine was getting high to 142 for a while, and then I went in to have my...
well, I think it's got to be hereditary. My dad had high blood pressure, you know? I mean, some things are just hereditary. You know, like your cholesterol level, you can eat like a freaking rabbit, but if you're hereditarily, you know, have high cholesterol, you're going to have high cholesterol, you know?
Yeah,
everybody's body's different, man. These doctors come out, yeah, it's nice, you know, to say everybody, yeah, this is bad for you, but some people, it's in their genes, you know?
While he's smoking a cigarette.
You know, it's like my mother, she lived at 5 days short of her 100th birthday. She never went inside a gym, never did any physical fit, you know. She just walked a lot when she was young.
Yeah.
But later in life, it's not like she went out and, you know, ran a marathon or jogged 5 miles every day, you know. She lived a pretty sedentary life. She ran after kids, you know, and grandkids, but some people, it's just in your genes, you know.
You remember that Jim Fix guy? The health nut?
Yeah. I was trying to think of his name the other day.
Yeah.
He had a couple guys at church. We were talking about, keeling over, and I said, there was that runner back in the 70s. What was his name? I couldn't think of his name. Jim Fix, huh?
Yeah, Jim Fix.
He was
Yeah,
like in his 40s, right?
yeah, he was a
He
big.
was like a long distance runner, world record
Yeah,
kind of guy,
yeah,
and then he keels over from a freaking heart attack.
yeah. Well, he had some super freak thing happen. There was
His
a there
his,
was a
his resting blood, pulse rate was probably like 40 beats a minute.
oh, below, yeah.
Yeah, or even below that. And then the guy has a heart attack. So you never know. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, we had a driver after I was there a couple of years. The guy was older guy. He was in his that time he's probably in his 50s, eating fruit all the time, go to the gym. That fucking died of a heart attack too.
Yeah.
So
Look at that guy. What was that guy, George? Whatever he played. Oh God, he lived to be 100.
George Burns,
George
99.
Burns. He had cigars every day, whiskey. Every day of his life, and he lives to 100 years old. So
People used to say that Jackie Gleason all the time. Hey, that's gonna kill you. He goes, well, he lived the way he wanted to live, eating what he wanted, smoking what he wanted.
yeah.
You know. Well, this route driver Ralph, or not route driver, route supervisor. Now his dad, black dude, pretty cool. His dad he was telling me this story about his dad, and his dad was 90 some years old, and like 93 or something like that.
Hey, Michael. Hey, Michael's in the chat. How you doing, Michael?
No, I know that. I know it's a while ago. Michael said hello.
Hey, Christian.
What was I talking about? Who was I talking?
You were talking about some black guy who was
Ralph,
bus driving guy.
Route supervisor. Ralph was cool.
Route supervisor.
Ralph had that walk like that police captain in Beverly Hills Cop. But Ralph was saying his dad was, I don't know how we got on the conversation, but his dad was 90 some years old, and his dad wanted some bacon or something, and Ralph said, well, Dad, that's going to kill you if you eat that. I said, Ralph, listen, I ain't trying to tell you what to do here, but Dad 93, man, let him eat some bacon.
Really?
I mean, he's 90.
What are you trying to do? Deprive him so he lives a couple more days?
Yeah, I mean, you got the secret of life. You're gonna ride it to 150 or some shit, and then you won't get no Social Security.
Look at Keith Richards, man. I mean, if we could all have the damn body, I don't know what you call it.
Does he still smoke?
I don't know.
Don't look like he does, but he used to did drugs too with Miles Davis, the jazz musician. He always asked him, "Hey, you got a bump?" They used to call this little, I don't know what the hell they had. And,
well, you and me, we've known guys, right? Guys that are probably our age or even older. Even back when we were younger, we knew these guys drank hard whiskey every day, and they lived to be our age or older,
Well,
I had
maybe
an
those.
uncle. My aunt married a guy. He was almost 20 years older than her, but Uncle Jim, man, he was an Italian, right? Jim DeMoss. Yeah. He every morning he'd have a cup of coffee, and what he added to his coffee was like a shot of whiskey, or always put whiskey in his coffee in the morning.
Oh, Irish coffee.
My older brother, man, the one that was always getting into shit. Well, he was pretty. When he was about 10 years old, he had a cousin, the same age, and they slipped in Uncle Jim's stash of whiskey, his bottle, and they took whiskey out, but they knew he'd noticed, so they put water in to replace it, right? So to fill it back to the level, right? So it wouldn't be obvious. And of course, they were shit faced. They're 10 years old, and they're taking shots of whiskey. And so they said they watched real careful. Uncle Jim, had a cup of coffee, and then he poured his shot in. He tasted his coffee, and he just kind of made a face, like something was off.
Spit it out.
Whiskey was all watered down.
Yeah, what kind of shit?
My brother and our cousin were laughing their asses off. They're all drunk up like 10-year-olds on whiskey, you know, and they're laughing.
You didn't get no.
Look at Uncle Jim's face.
You didn't get no kick out of that stuff.
Oh man. My brother used to steal the damn altar wine at church. He was an altar boy.
Oh, man.
They'd slip into the wine when they were altar boys.
I had two cousins that were the biggest freaking sinners in the world. They were altar boys, man. I'm thinking, jeez. Oh, my goodness. Especially Tim, man. Tim still is, as far as I know. Never met a guy that just turned out to be a turd, man. That had
Yeah,
asked
I never really knew. Like my brother and I weren't that close. You know, after I went in the military, man. You know, I was away, but I knew he drank beer a lot. But once he retired, man, he started drinking. I guess heavy. Of course, he only lived 8 months after retirement. He was dead. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe retirement just bored him so much. Well, maybe probably the person he was married to too. But
yeah,
he just 8 months he lasted.
My grandpa had it good in that his boss was a fellow Italian. He was like the ditch digger, you know. And my dad said that he was always in pain, and he'd have to go down to the bar to get him to bring him home, you know.
Yeah.
I think he got put on. I don't know if they called it disability back then, but I think he was in his mid-50s. He was shot, man. His back was shit, you know. So maybe that's an hereditary thing.
But yeah, my brother, he came up and he was talking to my mama on her porch, you know, and he was like talking, you know, he'd say shit. We never swore in front of our parents, you know.
No,
but he was probably like dropping F-bombs and stuff. He was fucking drunk off his ass, you know, talking to my mom like that. And my mom, you know, she's nice. She said, well, yeah, he was talking a little different. You know, she didn't want to say all the stuff she was saying. My mom would never say a bad word, right? So, but she said, you know, maybe you ought to talk to him. She said my brother-in-law was trying. I said, look, I ain't going to talk to a drunk. I said, if he wants to talk to me when he's sober, I'll talk to him. I said, but at the rate he's going to be dead or in prison. And you know what? A week later, he was dead. Okay? So I don't know how he died. I don't know if it was a heart attack. I don't know if he took his own life. I don't know the circumstance. Okay? Because his wife supposedly found him, right? She said she freaked out and she called her brother. I don't know what he did. It was an open casket for his funeral. So if he shot himself, he didn't shoot himself in the head, okay? But he could have shot himself in the heart, right? He was a hunter. He had plenty of weapons in the house. So he could have shot himself right in the chest. You know, I don't know. And I never asked because I don't want to even talk to that person he was married to, right?
We had a guy at the factory. He was a tool and die maker. And he was married, divorced, and he had a nice girlfriend that worked there. And Roman somebody, I forget his last name, but it took him 3 tries to off himself because he missed on the first 2. And then he finally succeeded, but he had depression for some reason. Michael, look at that hair part in the middle. What the fuck? Oh,
yeah. We used to consider them dope smokers back in the day.
Well, I didn't know.
In the middle.
I didn't know this, but when I was in the Army, I had my hair in the middle, and one of these guys.
No, huh?
Yeah, so one of these guys comes in because they thought I was dealing. Believe it or not, they implanted an MP, SSI, what do they call it, MPI, and he, this new guy came in because they said he worked at the finance and he couldn't be sitting down all the time because he had this back problem. So he had to move around. So after the guy worked with us for like 2 months, he goes, he's a real cool guy. And he says, he got to know who I was. And he says, hey, they're watching you. I said, watch me for what? They're watching you. They think you're dealing, or think you're on it because my eyes have always been squinty, and he says, "Yeah, he didn't tell me who he was, but I saw him from there after these. They had these two houses up by the not one of the gates, and their MPI families lived in those." And I started laughing at him. I thought, why would they think that? Oh, because you part your hair in the middle. So I got to know another one, and he was the bar manager at the at the officers club. We call it the Ratskeller downstairs. And his name was Rick, and he was a pretty cool guy with me. And um, one day I go, this friend of mine, I nicknamed him Johnny Cool because he always liked being cool. I mean, so we're outside one time. We're in the bar, and then we go walking outside. We were going to light one up. He had it, not me. And all of a sudden, for some reason, out of the corner of my eye, I see someone, and it was Rick. He was standing there, moved, and he knew I saw him. Because when I went back downstairs, instead of giving me, getting me in trouble for being associated or being with this guy, because we didn't light up. I said, "Let's get out of here, Johnny. It ain't good." And so he left, and I went back downstairs, and Rick said, "Don't hang around with that guy. We've been watching him." I said, "No problem." He was pretty cool with me, so I got a break on that one because he was just about to fire the fucker up. He'd have fired that up. I'd have been. They send you to this retraining brigade, and they bust you down to E1. Then they kick you out unless you want to start all over. Michael, how long ago did you have that picture taken?
No, Dutchie made it for me.
Who?
Another picture. Dutchie Adams.
Dutchie. Oh, Dutchie, eh? Dutchie. Yeah. Obviously, he's a Dutch. He's Dutch.
I don't know. He used some AI program.
I know a little bit of that. My great grandmother on my mom's side was from Denmark.
Might as well get with the times. My old picture was when I was 47. I'm 59 now. So
my wife
with the current.
Hey, my wife took a picture at my son's whatever they consider. I forget what they called it. But I looked at that. And I go, "Fuck, man! I look like my dad. I look old, fucking like my dad." You got to trim that other shit, man. Fuck.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, hey.
Isn't that a little hot in the Philippines wearing a beard? That's the last freaking thing I'd have in the Philippines is a beard. Damn. I'd be sweating my balls off.
Hey, at that ceremony today, I'm the only guy who was sitting there with jeans that I could barely get them on, and a polo shirt, and a Packers hat. Everybody else.
You dress for the occasion, huh?
Well, the dean or whatever her name is of the school, because they have a bunch of higher ups. She kind of looked at me because at first she looked like, "What's he doing in here?" Oh yeah.
Heck, it's only 84 degrees.
So what? You had the jeans on? You mean they're too tight?
No, just to button them up. That's all. It's my girl.
Yeah, I wear jeans. I wear jeans now.
I don't wear that shit.
Shorts on now, but
the last time I wore those jeans. Was last year at that same thing.
I can't ever see wearing long pants in the Philippines. I just can't.
Me either, man. Hey, I can't sell these. Especially
cover something up on my leg. So
how can the ladies put that shit on?
Don't go away. Don't want to go
That's
away.
when I first went to meet my wife, man, it was April, but it was freaking hot over there. She has jeans on,
Yeah.
Me coming from Pennsylvania in April, I was sweating my ass off.
Well,
the only time I felt comfortable was when we went up to Tagaytay, right? And it was cooler up on the mountain. That was the only time I was cool or comfortable. during my stay
No.
there. We were up at
Did
the guy
did you get that little thing I sent that said nobody likes to play with a dirty pussy, a dirty kitty?
Oh.
Yeah, it was a bunch of cats like talking shit because this other cat was stinky, and said something like look that up, man. It was hilarious. I sent that to almost everybody I know. I gotta look to see what you know what I noticed a lot of folks out there are making these they're making these shorts just to get views or whatever. They don't even do it a actual proper video anymore. Let me see.
They changed monetization on shorts. I don't know
Oh, here
what
it
it
is.
is.
It says in this book. This is what the book's called. It's a children's book. It says nobody wants to play with a smelly pussy.
Except the guys like me that can't smell. I don't have a sense of smell. So
Well, then you let your wife grow that bush
then
wild. You know what matters.
stinky fish don't bother me.
Well, she probably got her hair long then. No worry. Because if you don't get
I
them
don't know.
look-
I have to ask her next time I see her.
yeah. Well, then she might have you doing it all the time. Yeah, I heard this nursery rhyme said, "Oh, little pussy, what a sweet little pussy you are." Yeah. So anyway, all the faculty were in these gowns that just looked like everybody, perfect makeup kind of thing, where you go out for this super night out. I mean, it wasn't.
Isn't it like 95 degrees there?
Yeah, it was 30 C today. I remember looking at
They're wearing gowns, and I'm sure they got clothes on underneath that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, and then they got.
This is an outdoor ceremony, right?
Then you got makeup on that you can't. It's not kind to humidity. So
And it's
take.
outdoor, right? It's like in a covered
Oh,
area.
no.
Correct?
They had it in a bigger hall this year. They had it Watergate last year, and this year they had it at Almont.
Also, it's air conditioned, huh?
And it's a bigger hall with high ceilings, So they had the air conditioning on today. The practice there the other day was no air, so it was. But they had perfect makeup on, like people do when they have that one time a year when they either go to a wedding or some shit like that.
Don't they ever have people passing out at events like that?
No.
From the heat? No.
No, they're not. They're not wiping their brows either. They're.
Jeez.
Oh. Yeah, it's pretty. My whole thing in the back of my mind is constantly going. Geez, how can you do that? You're dressed in that shit in the heat. Then there was this new guy there. Their kid is new to the school. It's her kid, but he looked like he's 6'6", 6'7", and his wife was pointing me out. Oh, there's a guy like you over there. And I'm thinking in my mind, I look at the dude like that fucker looks old,
What, a foreigner?
That guy's tall. He looks like a doctor, like either a dentist or some kind of doctor, whatever the fuck. But when I looked at him, I thought, with the gray hair, and he has his luncheon pad spot in the back, and I looked and I thought, that fucker looks old. But then I looked at those pictures that they took today.
You're like, that's not me.
So do I,
like,
man.
Who's the old guy with my son there?
Yeah. Hey, you're under arrest. Well, you know what? My dad's side of the family looks super young, all the way up to one point, early 60s, and then boom, downhill. But in your mind, you're still thinking
Yeah,
What's up with your
we're all
Mike?
stuck on 18 in our mind. 18 in
Yeah,
our
right.
mind.
Yeah, I got the only difference between 18 and now is you got gray hair.
And you can't chase after it anymore.
Filipinos don't like gray hair. The majority of them here will. They'll either pluck them, or they'll color
Yeah, my wife has our daughters do that. Pluck those
them.
whites out every once in a while.
Yeah, so it won't be no nerve issue that why she's losing her hair. It's because, but my wife always says, "Oh, I'm losing. Look at my hair all around the house." I said, "You fucking will grow it back for you, but it won't for me."
So just go like me. Go to a Vietnam vet barber, and he just cuts your hair short. Can't even tell it's good.
Yeah, I go in there every time I go in. My wife will go, "Yeah, barber cut." You know, the first time I was there, and they did that. They shaved the sides like a freaking marine. You know.
Yeah, they call that military cut too.
Yeah, not. I was like, I ain't going. You know, because there's sometimes a misunderstanding comprehension issue. I'll just hold my fingers like okay, this high, you know, between my thumb and my index finger. I'll hold it, and they say to my wife, "What does he mean by that?"
Yeah.
I just said to you, just take this much off, you know.
I know the first time I was over there to meet my wife, she was in Metro Manila, and we were over at a cousin's house. And I told my wife I want to get a haircut. She said, "Oh, we could just have the barber come here." And I said, "What?" Yeah. So we're sitting out on their porch, and this guy comes over. He's got his clippers with him, and
Mm.
he wants to charge like 25 pesos, right? And I'm like, no, the guy came here to give me a haircut, give me a good haircut. I gave him 100 pesos. My wife's like, that's too much. I said, that's $2.
Oh,
I said,
it's nice.
you pay like 15 back in the States.
Yeah. Well,
I said, she said, no, that's too much.
when I got my last haircut before I left, and I've been going to these two ladies since I was in my early 30s, I think. I said, yeah, I'm looking forward because now they're up to 18 or 19 or some shit. And I said, yeah, I'm looking forward to those $2 for that dollar haircut. And they'd always get mad, you know. So haircuts here last year, all over, they were 50, and this one young guy place was 80. Well, now they're all 70, I think, all 70 or 80 now. It's still, I mean, it's got buck in it, less than $1.50, you know.
Yeah, the guy I go to, he still charges like $10. That's what his sign says. But every time I'm in there, I give him a 20 because he's a Vietnam combat vet, man. He's highly decorated, but real humble guy, quiet. I'm figuring, hey, that's all he does, that's his job. So I always give him $20.
When I was young, my dad took me to this. We always called them Polish barbers because that's what they were. Most of the barbers were Polish. And, they had that spinning red, white, blue thing up front. These guys were the greatest with the clippers, man. They cut them sides just looking so freaking nice. And without steadily looking at you, sometimes they're talking. Snip, snip.
Yeah.
And
there's a whole lot of bullshit going on
dude,
in those barber shops.
they put that paper thing around your neck, but they powdered it.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Man, they put that thing around your neck now, but they don't powder. You leave out of there with the best haircut you'll ever have in your entire life. But I of course at the time I didn't like that because I wanted my hair long. And, lucky if I cut it every 6 months. I'm like, I'm thinking to my dad, why are you so concerned about my hair when you don't really give a shit about anything else? So Michael, what's up with Michael? Michael, you didn't lose 40 grand, did you?
What's that?
You didn't lose any money, did you?
No. Why?
You didn't find any, Tony, did you?
Yeah, through the grapevines. Said you lost a ton of cash.
Oh no, I lost on the VA.
VA, what? Far as what?
They took 60% away
Why?
because I didn't know. I thought, well, the medical evidence would be in my VA record,
Uh-huh.
which it is, but it wasn't service connected. So then they took back the 100% PNP, and
You don't
that
gotta.
was 140%. So it left me 40%.
Well, that's enough to give you a stroke, man. Did they?
Not that.
Did they?
It
they want-
is because it put me at $4,044 a month.
By reducing it?
No. Now I'm at
I've never heard of them
7.
reducing someone.
Well, because I didn't have a current diagnosis, and I didn't have a personal statement connecting
How
it
did you get
to
the maximum
my
to begin
service.
with? How did they screw up to give you the maximum to begin with? You know, without evidence.
They said it was an unmistakable error on their part.
Oh,
So
that's
do you have-
excusable, huh?
You have to pay it back.
I don't know. They haven't sent me a letter saying that I have to pay
If
all
you,
that back.
if you were on Social Security, you would.
Oh yeah, they'll take it every month.
Before I watched this guy every
VA
time.
will take it out of your. I know the VA hospital because I was paying $40 to go there for an appointment and $8 per medication and all that. And they denied me anxiety. They denied me depression. But I've been going to the VA for fucking like 10 years. And my thing is like 499, well, 399 pages or something like that of my VA record. But they don't do it by they categorize it by chronological order, not by department.
So when you got this,
Huh?
when you got the news of that, did it make you go nuts?
Oh yeah.
Because I would be. Well, what am I go full of this stuff?
I'll get it back. I'll get it back one way or another.
Well, you got a good coach out there. He's a coach.
I got a BSO now. He told me, quit filing claims. Quit filing claims. You should have quit when you was 100% PNT. I said, the only thing I did was file an intent to file because I thought I needed to have that extended so that my dependents would be backdated. You know?
Yeah.
To 2022 or whatever. 2023.
Man, I wish I had a camera on my computer. I'd like to show you guys this super weather lady down there in either Texas or whatever. The blonde got this hot dress on. She's got a red dress and red panties. Oh, maybe I'll send it. I'll send it by way of what do you call it?
Messenger.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well.
What are you
Jack.
doing? You watching it right now? Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on Reels. Whatever's on Reels.
I don't do Reels. But...
No, I don't do them either. I'm looking at one playing.
Oh.
I don't know why playing, but I'm trying to find your name in here. Boy, I tell you. And then she goes and sits down right there where they're showing when they stand in front of that screen, the green screen, and they're pointing on, watching the TV on the side, and she sits down on a stool like it was intended to be this.
What city is it from in Texas?
I don't know. It just shows her standing with her left side next to the western part of Texas. So I don't know. It could be Oklahoma, but I don't have the volume up.
Uh,
Eh,
Let me see. I'm gonna. Here you go. I just sent it to you. Well, I didn't send it to you just, but I'm getting Michael a little jack off inspiration here.
and I got it on my phone. I don't know. I got four.
Well,
Four.
this is what you're looking at. You're going this.
so what, Michael? You still in Sogod? Still in your old place?
Yeah. Yeah. Got to go to Cebu next month. Well, this month.
They're trying to say you alcoholic ain't service connected. Tell
I
them,
don't know.
tell them I never
I can-
drink. I never drink before I went into service.
Well, I really started.
Because it
You
was
never
never so
find
cheap.
duty sober when I was in Hawaii. I was always drunk.
Military
Some-
did that.
Oh yeah, I fucking turned into a full-fledged alcoholic.
Those class
Yeah.
6
No.
stores or package stores, we called them, right? They were
Talk
cheap.
to Daryl, man. He can help
Little-
give you some.
Cigarettes
Shop
and alcohol were
store.
dirt cheap.
Yep.
I
I remember when I went in, they were like $7.95.
I remember $10 a cart. I don't remember 8, but I remember, I think, 10. It probably was cheaper. I went in 84. I don't know what years you were in. But
I was in 84 to 84 to 87.
80
And
to 83 here. Man.
And then took a 8-month hiatus from the thing and then joined the Army Reserve. I stayed in there nine years. They said total service 15 years.
did you
Oh,
go in reserve back in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I was stationed at stationed in Newcastle.
Oh,
Then they deactivated that unit, and then I went to Chippewa.
yeah, right up by past the airport, huh?
Yeah, right by the airport. Like the airport was there behind
Right.
the
Right.
barracks there. Yeah.
What years
Building
was
it.
that? What year were you in Chippewa? You remember?
I don't know. That was
Late 80s?
I was in the 90s, I think.
Oh, shit. I got out in 94. But I was never back in that area from 84 till 94. I wasn't
I had 9 years
back
in
in
effect.
Pennsylvania.
From
Yeah, what?
From 80,
9 years?
yeah, 9 years total. I think 4 of them were in Newcastle, and the other 5 were in Chippewa. So
My active duty was 9 years, 10 months, and 2 days.
93, I think I was. Moved to
4.5
Chippewa.
years overseas duty, I think.
Right.
I did 14 months in Hawaii. That's when Hawaii isn't an overseas duty station no more. They changed that in 1986, I think.
It was considered
Alaska.
CONUS. Huh?
Yeah, Alaska and Hawaii got converted to CONUS.
So they
But
didn't get.
if you was there
They still
before,
got COLA, right? Cost of living, right?
yeah, if you lived off post.
Yeah, because my daughter was stationed in Hawaii at the Marine Corps base, and she lived off post. She got COLA for her place. But you
Mhm.
had to, man. It's so damn expensive living there.
Yeah, Hawaii's horrible. 1986, a little 1-bedroom condo down in Honolulu, and it's not even on maybe 3 or 4 blocks away from Waikiki Beach. It was still two grand or $3,000 a month back in '86.
Wow.
I was like, why? I live in the barracks for free. More beer money.
I went on leave and I stayed in that Halikoa hotel, you know, the one for active duty and DOD. I spent a week there, and I think I was an E4 at the time, so I only had to pay according to my rank. And I think I was on Waikiki Beach Hotel for like $35, $40 a night because of my rank.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the people right next door at the Sheraton were probably paying over $250 a night or something, or more, even back then.
Yeah. The Halikoa, I think it's at the end of Lure Street.
It's subsidized. Shit.
Lure Street, I think's the name of it.
And my in-laws at the time, my mother and father-in-law got to come and stay at the same rate as me. So that was kind of like my mid-tour. I spent 4 years in Okinawa, so that was kind of like my mid-tour. And I was surprised, but my in-laws were allowed to stay in another room at the same rate as me.
Oh, well, that's good.
Because I sponsored them or something.
Yeah. Well, we always used to park at Port Teresi.
Yeah. Now again, when my daughter graduated boot camp, Marine Corps at Parris Island, they were allowed, if they got in time, they were allowed to reserve one on-base billet, right? For like parent, family coming in for graduation. So
Yeah.
I got it before my ex did. So I got to stay on post for a pretty reasonable price. And I told my daughter, she was there, I said, you realize this is the first time in your life, and I've waited all these years, for you to sign for me for something. So
Yeah, like if you go there Friday night, you can park at Port Teresi as long as you have the military sticker.
yeah.
It don't matter what one it is. But on the back end of the parking lot, and this is where the military says it's okay to drink. You know, they had a Class 6 store right there, right across the street from Waikiki Beach. Yeah, I used to go in there and get pints of Jack Daniels, and then go through this. What is it? Pink hotel. You can walk through there and get a great big Coke. You walk out the back, you're at Waikiki Beach. Dump half of that Coke out, put that pint in there, and just sit there on the beach and pick out tourists. Yeah, because they're chock white. Yeah. That's what we used to do, sit there and get drunk and laugh.
Got that Wisconsin tan like Tony.
Yeah.
No, I ain't got any different skin tone than I did back home. I don't. I got done with I got the construction done with the front of the house covered all the way from one side to the other.
Did you say you have a gate at the end of your driveway now?
Yeah, it's been that way for a while. But I mean, because when I first built it, I go, well, this is all it's going to be. And I said, well, I had this dirty kitchen in mind, just your garden variety. What do you call it? Hollow block with a a cheaper tin roof. And before I knew it, I had a regular roof like on the house on a slant.
Sure.
So
for your dirty kitchen.
Yeah. So it's part. Oh, now it's part of the house now. I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why. Just I say what I say and I let it go. And then I look one day and I go, "Hey, man, I wasn't supposed to do that."
My wife was asking me that. Well, her aunt died You know, the one. I think I told you the house my wife grew up in was a little wooden. What do you call it? Not a Baha'i Kubo, but it was
Portion.
4 meters by 11 meters. Okay, a wooden house, and it got ripped. It got tore up by a typhoon one time about 15, 17 years ago. So I said, I'll just build her a cement, hollow block with a good solid metal roof, and so for $2,500, I built her a little house just for her aunt, because that was the only one living. So, and her aunt just died like this past few months. And now my wife says, well, I've got some of the coconut plantation. She said, you want me to sell it? And I'm like, I don't know how I would do that, from long distance. She's got, I think, 2 hectares, which a hectares is 10,000 square meters, right?
Yeah.
So 2 hectares would be 20,000 square meters. Or cubic meters, whatever they call it. How do they sell it over there? Square meters?
Yeah.
Whatever. So she got 2 hectares, and it's like coconut plantation land. And she could probably sublet it, to people that want to harvest the coconuts. Because right now, I'm sure everybody's just getting their coconuts for free from their property, because there's no one working there. So
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? They used to show on Gilligan's Island them things falling from the tree and hitting them in the head and being no problem. If they hit you in the head, they're going to kill you.
Oh, yeah. If they hit it right, man, they'll put you out.
Fucking heavy. It's like a 16-pound bowling ball.
Yeah. Dropping from about 60 feet up.
Yeah. Oh,
they don't believe in hard hats over there, right?
No. Their construction outfits consist of
flip-flops, tank
flip-flops,
shorts.
Flip-flops, sometimes a shirt, T-shirt, and then they got their homemade utility belt. They take a regular belt and they cut like a small container that used to have bleach or something in it. That would be the little thick old nails, and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, it's like this one time I was asked my wife to come help me with something. I said, here, I gave her a pair of work gloves. She's like, what do you want me to do with these? I said wear them.
Put them on your feet.
Don't tear your hands up.
I said, put them on your feet.
She don't believe in any safety, PPE, personal protective equipment, for doing any job. But then she'll slam her fingers or something. She'll go, I'm like, oh, you just got to shake your head, man.
Well, that was last time. It didn't hurt much.
Yeah.
I needed a hot.
Well, now I got 600 square meters, about halfway up the mountain now. So they planted okra. I already got okra.
I got a bridge I want to sell you.
I think they're supposed to pick
in
it
Phoenix.
And not like this side of a mountain, man. Got enough trees to hang on to.
Well, I thought when they surveyed that, they were going to go to the road, but they didn't. So then I would have gained all these banana trees. But my property butts right up against these banana trees. About 50 meters from my property line to where the banana trees start.
So you were inebriated when you bought this land.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, so I asked my wife about these 2 hectares, and I'm like, how can you sell it? Who would you trust, to do it for you? Because everybody, they want their cut or whatever.
Oh, well, they all will.
They all will. But I said, are you sure it's in your name? She said, yeah, before your auntie died, she said she went to the barangay office and signed the papers. I'm like, well,
Hey,
I said, when you're out of sight, you're also out of mind,
I don't believe there's a soul here that will do something and not expect anything in return.
Right.
That's just the way it
especially
is.
for a foreigner.
See, I had a worker here it'd be a year in July we started. A worker here around the first group of guys, the 7 guys that were supposed to get this done faster than 6 months, which it ended up being 8 months for their part. But this guy, he got he had glasses or something to do with he got cut. And my wife says, "Well, you should pay his hospital." I go, "What the fuck for?" He's the dumbass that didn't wear no safety gear. It ain't my problem.
Mhm.
If you're fucking dumb enough not to, oh man, you
I
say
had
more.
to bought,
Yeah,
extra 100 square meters. It was supposed to be a 500 meter lot, square
That's pretty-
meter, and then I added 100 onto it.
yeah.
But they extended it the other way. I wanted them to extend it towards them banana trees. And nobody owns it, so I guess if there's bananas there, I guess you can go climb the freaking tree and cut them off.
We had,
Just take them. Yeah.
we had the city guy come here and the tax guys, they survey it, they go by the square or by the square meter or whatever. And it always shows me I think I told you guys, I forgot. Like $128, something like that. And that includes the lot and the house.
Yeah.
So the storage area I cut that in half now, and they're doing it now. And then the one half I'll move my computer shit into there, and then have my kid have this room here for a gaming room. Give those chairs in here, since he likes that.
Oh my-
Like,
So, from you
Yeah.
guys' experience, what is a cheap for property? What is a cheap per square meter or whatever they sell it by?
yeah, I bought this one. When I bought the 500, I got 690 now, but I think I paid for the 145. I think I paid $1,800. But for
Per
the
square meter?
no, that for the whole thing. Divide that.
How much?
145.
How many
But,
square meters you bought?
145.
145 for the back for the entrance to the lot.
145 square meters, and you paid $1,800.
Yeah, something like that. Pretty close to that.
Oh, 145 square meters.
So the other lot is 540. The one the house is on here is 545, and we bought this in 2014. The lot, and I think it was, $6,000, something like that. But the paperwork and all that shit was 65. So it'd be per square meter of 6,000.
$11. That's $11 a square meter. Is that right?
6,000 US dollars.
Yeah,
Wow, I thought it was like 45.
$11 a meter. Square meter.
$11 a square meter.
Paid 2,000 pesos per square meter up there on the hill.
That's what I bought it for. Chris didn't believe me when I first told him. I said, "Well, I got a reason to bullshit.
Million,
This is
1.2 million pesos just for
This-
the lot.
that's what the 10-year accumulative. What did I say I had to pay for taxes for that 10 years? Geeko, what was that like? $6 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what we do with it. We paid a flat tax. That was another 78,000
Yeah.
pesos.
Aren't you
One
glad?
time tax. That's an
Mike-
option, or you can pay it every year taxes.
Michael, aren't you glad? Aren't you glad you got it kind of like that now that you're missing some of that money you had?
Yeah, because they
That would-
probably have a
That
house
were in
built by
America, that would be devastating. Catastrophic.
So, Michael, you
Right.
said you spent $2,000 US for how many square meters?
600. It's like a half hectare. little
That's
over
like
half.
$3 a square meter. Wow.
The what do you call it guy, the architect guy here,
2,000
he told me,
2,000 per square meter.
he told me that my
2,000.
land,
Oh, 2,000 pesos per square meter divided by, say the peso's 55. All right, that's $36 per square meter.
Yeah.
And now that's for undeveloped mountainside land, you said?
Well, no, there's a subdivision.
Oh,
It just
okay.
isn't
So it is a
developed.
housing area.
It's a
Okay.
private subdivision. Like, it's not one of these great big companies building it.
Right. But I
So
mean,
he
like
sells
for
lots, he's gonna have road-
farmland, it would be real cheap, right?
It
You're
was
talking probably
farmland.
what? Oh, really?
Was farm.
Because hers
Well,
is coconut plantation.
All that
You know,
property.
I have no idea what, you know.
I don't know how much he has up there, but I think he has like 1,000 hectares. I think.
Wow, 1,000 hectares is a lot.
it might be
Yeah, a lot.
both. They got all kinds of land for sale because they had major earthquakes there all the freaking time. You know, the ground almost looks like lava flowed down in it one time.
Where at? What are you talking about? What
Boho,
area?
Boho.
Oh.
That's where my main guy's at from here now.
They planted a little garden up there. So the guy that works for me, I still have him. He works. He goes up there and waters the shit and does all that stuff.
I'm gonna give
He's
the
up
guy
there today.
one of my workers from the beginning. He's still here. He only missed like 2 days. The whole 2 years. You know, I'm gonna have him when this is all done. He lives nearby. I'm gonna give him 1,000 peso a month to come by and get the grass. Go chop the grass away from the house a couple of feet. You know, to make it look nice. If there's no grass to cut, then you don't have to do nothing that day. But he got up there because with the humidity here, all the soffit and all that shit got all dirty, and he's underneath. He's up there with a wash rag, you know, and some solution wiping it down.
I pay my guy. Well, he lives down there at the other place I rent. I rent 2 places here, so they all had chickenpox. So I excavated to the
that's
apartment.
That's big here.
I got the hell out of there. Hey, you stay here and take care of the kids. I'm
My
leaving.
nephew's got that. Hey, my nephew's got that shit right now. Maybe my son now.
Yeah,
Chicken
going
pox?
around. Yeah.
Yeah, you got my nephew's. That poor guy's got it too.
I went to have my wife go to every pharmacy. I said, get some calamine lotion. Yeah, calamine.
I used to think that
Calamine.
that they give you that pink dryness look.
Yeah, that's a calamine lotion.
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of take the itch away, makes it less itchy, so they don't
yeah.
scratch it.
No, you
Because
always
they
well-
break the blister, then it will scar.
you tell you tell the wife that you should have a weekly, if not by daily, a week. Have you put Vicks vapor up on her chest so she can breathe better when she sleeps.
My wife does that sometimes. I don't know.
You need to do it for her.
Menthol.
You need to do it for her, Mike.
I can't stand the fucking smell of that shit. It's like poop and shit.
She puts that shit on your pecker, you're gonna be burning, man.
She'll be wanting to put that shit on my nuts. Get the hell away from me.
That would be it, though. It'd be on fire all night long.
Hell yeah.
You go to the hospital. You go to the hospital. Go look.
Look what she did to me.
There's a cabbage patch there, man. like tumbleweeds. That'd be rough.
Just funny.
So, have you made any contact with the government to try to reverse this thing that happened to you?
Now I'm gonna have to reapply. See, they only give you 60 days to provide new evidence, medical evidence, and
How do you do
the
this?
personal
How-
statement.
how do
So
you-
they mailed it in January, and I got it in April.
How do you?
So how am I
you-
supposed to reply back in 60 days?
Yeah, well, well, I only go to my post office once a month because sometimes the chick brings me shit, sometimes she don't. Because when I get,
I got a stupid letter from them. So I called. I called back to the U.S. I said, "What the hell is this supposed to mean?" It's two
Hey.
sentences.
it happened to me twice with that stupid proof of life form. So this time, I said it. I was going to send it differently, but this time it's going to be easier to fill out because it's the same as last year. So I just check fewer boxes. You know, I mean, write down fewer shit. So I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in an envelope like I normally would. Then I'm going to LBC and they can mail it because they didn't.
Mail it directly to.
It's in,
I think
it's in Pennsylvania.
It's in Wilkes-Barre,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Wilkes-Barre. That's it, man. Yeah, that's
It's
right.
1010. I think 1010 East Mountain Drive.
I don't remember. Man.
Send it through LBC.
All I know is when I first talked to you, I said I was going to do that after you told me what you told me about yours. So mine happened the same way. Mine happened the same way. So I fill it out and I send it in back in June. I got it in the middle of June. So I send them out in May.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Got
You
it.
just got to
I got
once
it
a year.
at the end of June. So all of a sudden I get I get this other letter that's
It's the same thing.
that they didn't deliver here. That those guys sent out in November. I had 4 of them, and it said that they never received my form. So I'm thinking, oh shit, man. So I had to go on here. It took me 40 minutes sitting on the line, and I got to tell you, man, if you get a white lady on there, they're no fucking help at all. They ask you, they have you, it's like they try to avoid the questions because maybe they don't know the answer. But the other 2 ladies I had, excellent. I told them what I needed. Now I need to have my when I want to check my account, I need to have those numbers sent. I want them sent via email, not the phone, because I want to get rid of that American phone number. I don't use it all.
No, I got that magic jack, so I.
Well, I don't
it's
like-
working.
What I don't like, Michael, is that AT&T, they're fucking snakes. They turn that shit on, even though I got it shut off. If I get a voicemail or something, they'll turn it on, and without no notice, it'll be on. I'll look out of curiosity once in a while. I'll look through my settings. Hey, the fucker's on. I never activated that. Bastards.
Yeah, they can remotely activate it, like
Well,
Facebook. Facebook does it. You go on
never-
Facebook, the page, the
Yeah.
regular Facebook, and you're on there, and you're just going down looking at what people posted on that you can see on your page. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
can remotely turn on your camera. They can remotely turn on your microphone. So if you're talking to your wife, well, when we're in Cebu, I might look for a new watch, right? So what are all the ads? They're about watches.
Big brother's always listening.
They activated the microphone.
Well, you just said it now. There's going to be all kinds of ads tomorrow. Watch. And I know
No,
shit,
that's
man.
on Facebook page.
I've experienced it.
Yeah,
I've experienced
they do that, but you don't know it's on. Really? Yeah.
Okay, and another thing too, if you got Bluetooth for your CCTV cameras, Anybody can look at that fucker. So don't put them inside the house. If you have it hardwired, it's different. But
Yeah,
if you-
I have
Well,
one here.
hey, there ain't nobody doing nothing outside. That you know what I mean. I'm no fucking nut yet. You know, I'm not, but live and learn, man. That's right. You know, we're always learning. We're always. Oh,
Looks like a little.
the day
Kinda
you
looks
think you know everything. I gotta say this. I gotta say this because either the twit's watching now or he's watching or sometime in the future. But I gotta say this. That this video came up on my what do you call it? I wasn't logged in, so that way you could. So I'm watching. All of a sudden, I see this new video. Now he's doing it like he used to, having a cameraman. So it's much better when people are watching and they can learn it through you. But when you do it without a face, without a
I'm just.
person. But I got to tell you, that's the kind of stuff that gets. The only thing he's gonna watch, and he probably pissed off somebody already, is like his friend Edward was such a nice guy, and I heard one time Edward was supposed to be doing something for him, and the way he spoke to him was like, where's my fucking shit kind of attitude, Like, honestly, I'm being honest, man. I'm like, what the fuck? No wonder to do. No wonder to do.
Tony. So,
But I'm telling you, if he when he sees this or hears this, this is the proper way to get your shit back to the way it used to be. At least 80-90%. But he doesn't travel the back roads anymore looking for shit. But by having like dealing like a news person, out in the field doing stuff, then you get a feel for it. What it's like for this person talking and walking and putting his hands on whatever, or looking where he's looking. Or you're looking at his eyes, you're listening to his voice. That's the way it should be done if you're serious about this kind of thing. Me, I'm not. So,
they turn all kind of shit.
But I always give credit where credit is due, man. I still don't care for them, but it's good to see that you finally get the ship fucking righted.
But if you have trouble with Social Security, you don't get your. I don't know. I've seen a lot of videos that they're going to change your pay date and all this and that.
That's all. You know what? I'm telling you, Michael. Watch this guy named Ed Weir. Ed Weir. Ed.
Yeah, I do. I follow him.
Okay, only follow him because you read this other shit, and they got people fucking stressing.
But if you have trouble, you don't get paid. Get a hold of it's called FBU at the U.S. Embassy.
I don't.
And they can't access your Social Security records.
No.
It's suspended. So if it's suspended, they can tell you that it's suspended and the reason why it's suspended.
I think I got it. I think we got.
So if they don't get that form by February 1st, then of the next year, then they'll suspend your payments until they do. But they can tell you what the problem is.
Yeah.
But they can't access your
Social
Security account.
The problem to begin with is they're firing the overseers that oversee the shit like this. So it's a big job, man. It's freaking huge.
I like that when they said, "Oh, 150-year-old man collecting," and Ed Weir says, "No, we got systems."
Dude, they're not sending any checks. It's these people are still in the system because they weren't taken off of it properly. So when Elon first came out, like, oh, we found this fraud, he didn't find a fucking dime of it. not the shit you're talking about.
I think the oldest person living in the United States is 114 years old. So if they're the
Well,
oldest living person,
You
how
know,
can
you know
somebody
what they
that's
figure? They figure
that
anybody.
150?
They figure that anybody that's 120-year-old don't get paid no more. Stop paying them. But anyway, there's a lot of there's a lot.
You know what I mean?
I think
When
one's
the
called
oldest living
social.
is 114.
I think it's called social side or something. That's a bogus. I can't get rid of it, man. It pops up and I try to right click that thing and I don't want to fuck around and mess up. I
So
like to keep stuff as simple as I can.
listen to this stupid ass letter from the Veterans Administration. They mailed it February 28th, okay, and I got it April 15th. So that's how much, because they send it regular mail.
Do you go on? Do you go to pick yours up or do you have yours delivered? I wouldn't rely on it being
I have
delivered.
to go to the post office.
Okay.
Usually they text me, but they've been fucking up on that. But it says, "Dear Michael McFarland, we received mail indicating that you would like us to review a claim for earlier effective date that we previously denied. BA regulations require you to file this request on a proper form." But they don't say what the previous thing that was denied. You know what I mean? So they spent $4.48 to mail that to me, and it basically says nothing.
Maybe that you listed the wrong sex on your thing. Or where it says sex, you said please.
Then they sent me a form to submit medical evidence. And all this.
Michael, where
Medical evidence that they're looking for.
where do they expect you to get these documents or whoever from? Does it matter? Does it have to be a VA doctor? I'm sure.
No, it could be any doctor.
Well, I mean, listen, if the VA having a VA doctor would probably be beneficial to you because what's gonna come up. What's gonna come up is they're gonna discredit somebody.
They won't do it. They won't do it.
Oh, okay.
They won't. They'll diagnose you, but they won't give you the nexus letter tying it to your time in service. If it's not in your military service record.
You know what? At this point in my life, I don't want to be bothered with shit like this.
It's just a bunch of pushing paper.
They fucking make me stroke out, man, with this shit. This part of your life is supposed to be simplified, not complicated.
I gotta go to an orthopedic surgeon.
You got burned cigarette holes in the bottom of your feet so you can't walk.
No, my knees.
You're not on them again, are you? Maybe you're on them too.
They said the slight narrowing of both medial and femoral tibial joints.
Yeah.
That's your thigh bone and your shin bone.
Well, I'm holding on.
So they only give an impression. They don't give a diagnosis. They said consider early degenerative arthritis, both femoral and tibial joints. So that's both legs. Right now I'm just having trouble with the fucking one.
My dad. Mine, occasionally when I move mine to side, I'll get a real sharp pain, but it's not a lot. My dad had one knee reconstructed knee done. You talk about pain, man. He had him all doped up. He's barely coherent.
I'm gonna try to look when I'm in Cebu.
Oh, you got to jump on that, man. You're only what, 58 now?
59.
59.
I'm gonna put it down as a claim.
Did you have a birthday this year?
Service connection.
Well, sure
Jumping out
it
of
is.
helicopters and all that shit. You know what I mean? Touching their landings, and you
Tell
don't
me
get
that-
out. It might be 3 or 4 feet to the ground.
That's-
You know?
Yeah, tell me you got slapped around a lot as a kid. But anyway, there's,
Yeah. Ow,
I
ow, ow.
the first 3 times I had to call Chicago. These ladies were super freaking nice, and I always thank them for their time, and I appreciate their service. And that, so you can hear it perk them up a little bit in the background, and it really is, man. And finding somebody that doesn't mind answering your questions about shit with a steady, friendly voice that you get notification of them, getting bitchy or short with you is very much appreciated.
Yeah.
It's been
Just
great.
a sweet talker, Tony.
Yeah, well,
You could sweet talk a female elephant across the high wire.
yeah.
Okay, many hours in the bar learning that skill, huh, Tony?
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, I like it. Well,
It's
we're gonna
across-
record this conversation for training
It's across
purposes.
I have to bear,
Sure.
So
Comes
if
naturally,
you
huh?
call it,
Hey,
if you
Michael.
call it,
Michael, I don't know about you, but this year's been awfully rainy so far. Even the months when it's supposed to, be steady, heat day and night. This has been so fucking wet every day at night. At least it's
yeah, it rained today. We had a couple of good days there.
We had a storm. We had a storm here that came in here 2 days ago. I had never been witness to
It
any
didn't rain very long.
I've never been witness to any rain that hard in my whole life.
Oh, man. I seen it in Manila.
Well, I've seen flooding, but I mean, I bear witness to it being here. It's scares you. The wonder is, where's all this water going? So I'm pretty good here. I'm up 3.5 feet. But the architect put a new road in out front, which is awesome because the other one looked like the dirt one looked like craters from bombs, And this house being jacked up, is 5 feet lower than what the road is.
5 feet lower than the ocean.
No, the road, not lower than the ocean. Fuck, if you were lower than the ocean, I'd have a boat. Yeah, they're not hip to that damn
From here,
seepage.
it's only 84 degrees.
Did you say you had anal seepage?
No, I'm 4 blocks from
See what this is.
the bay down there. One of them tsunamis hit one of them bays in Japan years.
77 and rain likely, which is, Captain Obvious. You're in tropical like this. You always have that 40, east 30, 40. Yeah.
I've been here for over 12 years, so it doesn't really bother me that much.
No, man, it don't mind as long as it's not snow.
Yeah, get out there and have to shovel that. I shoveled my 100,000 tons of snow in my lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, man, Jesus. Before, yeah, I wondered how all those years that I lived above a bar in a corner, a corner bar upstairs, and they had like double sidewalk from from the building out to the near the city street, and man, oh man, you're shoveling, you get all the 2 foot of shit drips or higher, and you get done, and then it's full up again. But if you didn't get at it at least once, instead of having maybe a foot the next day, you're gonna have snow drifts up to 3 feet.
I shoveled over my neighbor's driveway with my
Those,
goddamn
those,
Subaru.
those guys used to open the door. He used to open the door and throw shit at me while I was shoveling.
See, oh, can you come over and shovel my driveway for me? Uh, yeah, I'll come over. So it had one of them scoops on the front.
Yep.
I backed up across the street, floored it. The snow come up over the roof. I just kept on driving. It was 4-wheel
Hey.
drive. As far as it'd go.
Hey,
Powered it all up.
you know the fun.
And then it was easy shoveling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's when we got one of them.
Michael, when I was driving, when I was driving the bus, I used to love it when they had freshly plowed side streets, and you get there, the weather is such, it hasn't frozen yet, and I'd gun it a little extra and hit that freaking snow, and the cops come the other way one time, they're like, look at that, they're pointing and laughing. They said that because if I don't knock that down overnight, later that night, it's going to turn into ice, and then we're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah. I don't miss them days.
Hour 38 minutes, man. We're rolling today. The twit must have left us, but anyway, welcome back to doing it the way it should be done. It should help you. Self-help.
I started doing live streams. So I was going to do them every other night. And I thought, Friday, I'll look and see if Tony's doing his. So I didn't do one.
Every other week would be good for me. I don't
Come over here. Bullshit.
know. I got my two simplest cameras. The GoPro 7s they're ready to roll already. I got an 11 I haven't taken out of the box, and there's a 10 that had overheating problems, but you can get firmware updates, but I just don't feel like getting into all that technical shit, I got all kinds of brand new real sharp gimbals, man, that I haven't used yet, but I should get back to doing it because I have one interesting subject matter to do. And that is, do you all remember when a lot of the houses had that doorbell button that had the light on it?
Yeah.
You ever remember? Well, I was walking down the road over by my brother-in-law's house. And that's how they turn on the light over, the street light. No fucking button. It's just like the doorbell button. Got the wire running. What the? I never. There's a couple of things you don't mess with: gas and electricity for sure. Natural gas, electricity, and water. You don't have if you barely have experience in the first two. Don't think of doing it because you're going. Fuck that. You're looking like open up a big can of worms, and that's.
Especially if you don't have the ability to smell.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I always like when gas stove for our house, right? I think you
Sound like-
stand here, and if you smell any, you let me know right away because I can't smell.
You sound like you're in the bottom of a can. You
earbuds because it's been too long.
is the wife home now?
No, she's working.
Let that grow wild, and then do the taste test or the smell test.
Yeah. When I first got to Hawaii, we went to the post office, and they were working on the power line right out front in a bucket truck.
Yeah.
And then they were working on it, and we went in, and my friend wanted to mail a letter. I said, "Ain't you gonna open it up to see whether it fell?" Yeah.
Oh man, they don't. You're lucky they don't have a bucket. They don't have a bucket here like they just shimmy up that fucker however they do. But my electric bill went up from an average of 4,000, between 4,000 and 5,000. It went up to 7. So somebody must, because my internet line got cut a couple weeks ago, and the guys go, either somebody tried to splice into it or they cut the wrong wire, and now it could, if I get another 7,000 peso bill, then somebody tapped into that thing up there. It just almost doubled, because I have a water pump now from my tank. I had a tank put in, and it don't whenever it pumps, it don't even pump long, and I can't believe that would add an extra 3,500 peso to my bill. But we'll find out. Listen, I got to tell you, I got the best water pressure in this entire city. I can turn it on and blast. Oh, it's nice.
But let me finish my story about the post office.
Go ahead, postman.
So we were walking out and going down the steps, and then all of a sudden you hear this boom, and all you seen was hair in the smoldering body flipped out of that bucket and hit the goddamn ground.
Holy shit!
Oh, the grossest shit that I ever seen. You know what I mean? I don't think I want to be a lineman for an electric company.
No, not here.
He was smoldering. Off his clothes, all his hair.
That and he probably saw Jesus too.
He was.
I'm not trying to disrespect you.
Coming back from that one.
He probably seen things he's never seen before. Come through his mind.
He probably died almost instantly. Yeah. He was crispy.
Oh, the dude got fried to death?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was up there in the bucket. So had been grounded right or something. I don't know.
Well, you know what's rough here? They don't harness or have the transformers that we do. Theirs is higher here.
That was over in Hawaii. That was on.
The reason they got those substations is to channel that shit down, to slow it down. Because if you didn't have those things, the electricity, if it were coming into your house, it would blow everything off the fucking walls.
You know, you go to like Home Depot, they always ask you your zip code, right?
Yeah.
So I used to give them the zip code for Hawaii, 96857. I wouldn't give them my local.
Nobody ever gave you a look. Nobody knew. Huh?
That's the postal code for Schofield, 96857.
If they ask me my address, I tell them 1313 Mockingbird.
Yeah.
I still use 109 McKinley in Elwood, but there's nothing there. It's locked. It's owned by the government.
Oh yeah.
Beam owns it because it's in the floodplain.
Well, Christian must
That
have gone.
address Bird Lake.
1313.
Yeah, what show was that from?
Munsters.
Yeah.
Oh,
Munsters, not monsters.
Boy,
Munsters.
he really sounds like he's in a tunnel now.
Yeah.
you got the headphones on. They suck. I'm charging up my ear pods.
Hey,
We've been on too long.
Put some money into it. You got to plan ahead when this award-winning show comes on.
Yeah. Look. For 2 haircuts, could have got you a new pair of fucking headphones.
Yeah.
The new air cost $1 here.
Yeah. I don't know what a new headphone said. I don't use them.
Yeah, you gotta think ahead, Chico. Don't.
Hey, I start with them fully charged, 100%, and then you bullshit too long.
You made
Too
me
long. Too long. Well, we got an extra guest. We got an extra guest tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Christian probably left and went to sleep or make a new song or something. Fucking hey, boy. I tell you, man, last couple of days I had to jack up the speakers. My hearing ain't that great. And it was the roof, the rain was hitting the roof so hard. It did. Like right now.
pretty calm here.
I gotta squirt some glue up. I gotta squirt some glue up there and put some broken glass up there. Some Mexican diamonds and throw them home.
You got your new glasses to the Philippines. How much did it cost you, all in all?
Oh boy, $320 US. I think it was
Any cheaper than here?
$320 or 13,000 maybe, something like that.
Hey,
But well, it's not. It's about all in all with the test. You can't get away with not having one. I go, I don't need one. I just had one 4 months ago. Oh, you gotta have one. So
Well,
with that is about 300. You know.
okay, I'll tell you because I got my receipt right here.
Yeah.
So
I told one lady because she knew how to clean these things. I tell you, man, he's a motherfucker cleaning glass. It's a pain in the
I
ass.
paid.
It doesn't
I
matter
paid-
where I do. You gotta, I get so much where that puke would. Oh,
I
I
paid
give up on that shit.
$22,000, and I got senior citizen discount.
No.
So was 27,000, and then they took off 5,500, made it 22,000.
I'll have to ask about that. I never asked about that. I'm 63 now.
Yeah, I got senior citizen, or I could have went.
At 59, is this recently? Recently?
This is
Well, some get it at 55.
Oh,
but-
it's in December. December.
All right, well, money's
I
money.
keep it in my case.
They got a card that they give me. It says a lifetime. What was it? Lifetime.
Yeah, they give you a little card.
Well, it says lifetime. What is it now? I want to be correct because adjusting frame adjustments. Because a lot of times I'll just fuck it up, and I think I've got pretty good at guessing what it got to be. So when I go there, they always tell me, well, this, they can't be perfect. I'm thinking, you know what, man, your fucking thing says lifetime, and so either you want to do it or you don't. If you don't want to do it, give it to somebody else. But I don't give a shit. But there's only so much we can do. Well, maybe you can do this better than I can.
Vintage Optical. That's where I go.
It's just there's a place upstairs, but it's more for the younger folks, I would think, the styles they seem to have. But next time I get something like that, I'm not going there no more. I just, I'm there for a reason. If you don't want to do it, just tell me. I don't tell me. If if you don't mean what you say with the card, then let me know.
They give me a card or some bullshit.
You got 5 people standing around plus 2 in the front. Supposed to be shagging in customers. So like it isn't like even when there's people there, I'm not taking a whole lot of time out of your day.
But I carry
So what's-
cheaper houses, so.
What's the chismis, man? Anybody got any new chismis?
I know. Don't know of any.
Yeah, me either.
I don't go anywhere.
Always searching for a good one though.
Hey, I got a Toyota Nova now.
I thought you got a
What?
truck, a van. It's used, right?
Oh no, I wanted to buy that because it
What
would
year?
sell. But
What
I
year
ended
is
up with
You got that 2.8 in there? Diesel?
2.8 diesel.
What trim level is that? Is that the J with your shifter?
I don't know what model exactly.
What
Yeah.
is it, Michael? Is it an SUV or what is it?
Yeah, it's like a SUV.
It's a van. It's on the same chassis as my truck. People it only has 7. You can put 7 passengers in it. The truck has 5.
Toyota Nova, huh? What year?
Innova, IN.
Okay. What year, Michael?
OBA.
Michael,
2014. 2014. I give 400,000 pesos for it.
So who drives it?
I crash it.
That I believe.
There ain't no driving involved. It's all about crashing.
Yeah,
So how much do you have to bribe to get away from a DUI there?
Oh, I don't. I just drive.
No.
you can't remember. He was that far out of it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Nah, I went drunk. Well, I drunk the one time, but I was up in the province. She just bitched because I bent her fucking light pole. So I paid
What
my.
color is it?
It's kind of a darkish brown, metallic color.
Might be deep. Might be like a burgundy feel, purplish.
It's not a purplish color.
No, not
Brown.
brown. 2014, yeah.
It's a diesel?
Yeah, it has 135,000 kilometers on it.
Yeah, so that's about 80,000 miles. Good shape, though?
Oh yeah. Man.
All right. Well, I am gonna get going to bed. The show's
All right.
gonna-
You took your pill already?
I did. I have to take my wife and son to the church tomorrow. You'd have thought it was me the way I'm up at 4 a.m. every day, 4:30. That's just the way it goes. I gotta
Really?
do my pre-wake up ritual with the stretching, and then I gotta maybe shut the lights off that I have turned on outside, and take my medicine. Get my apple cider vinegar and all of that.
You got any roosters or dogs at that time in the morning? Waking you up?
No, not really. Some little bastard across the way. I've never seen it. But my dog, there's cats that were tangling so bad it sounded like somebody somebody was shaking the roofing, the tin roofing. It did. I thought, man, somebody tried to rip off my water heater or something. I just whoa. So I looked around. There's nothing wrong with. So the cats they're like 3 cats. So they must have been duking it out or something. But it sets the dog off. Anyway, thanks for coming tonight.
All right. Have a good week.
And
Good to hear from you again, Michael. Take care.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah, nice to
I'm
hear.
around.
We'll see
I'm
you next.
around.
Michael, stop by next week.
You gonna
Yeah,
have any
all right.
more live streams, Michael?
Yeah, I can start one after this. It's better
No,
than
that's
me.
all right.
Go.
Tomorrow,
right.
Michael. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Same
All right,
time
Tomorrow.
take it easy, fellas. Later.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
I think I get a good time to start. I don't want to start at 10
10
anymore.
p.m. Nah, I can't do that. I'm in the Philippines now.
Well, because everybody lived in the U.S. You
If
know,
you're
it's
on,
in
if
the
you're on,
morning for you, it's 10 at night for me. So
if you're on here, I'll click on here when I'm on. Come on.
okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks for stopping. Maybe see you next week,
I was thinking about starting at 8.
Hey, Mikey.
I
good
started
night.
at 9:30 the last one, but nobody really showed.
Adios.
All right, later.
Later.
I'm out of here.